Welcome to LinkedUp, Breaking Boundaries in Education, a podcast that focuses on what is happening in education today, connecting everyone to the movers and shakers that are breaking boundaries in the education arena.
Welcome to LinkedUp, Breaking Boundaries in Education. So, Jerry, this time of year, of course, it marks the end of summer and it marks the beginning of fall and certainly the start of the school year. But the most important day that it marks is September 15th, coming up now here. Dot day! And we're so happy. Peter Reynolds back! Yeah, we get it. Here it is. Dot day.
Oh, I love that you have the book with you, both of you. I'm feeling left out.
And I got my dot.
That is so cool.
I love your dots. Fabulous.
Yes.
And it is International Dot Day, so I have some international editions with me. This is the Greek version is Chinese version. I've got some other ones here too. But we have the let's see, we have the Italian who wants to go to Italy with me to read the dot punto. The Hebrew edition. We have the English edition, the Greek, German.
What's above your head?
Oh yes. That's a good question. I'm not sure which edition this is. Paul can agree. Oh, Romanian.
Again.
For all of their Romanian friends out there. And their German. Look, I like that one. Their Punkt.
Wow.
It all means the dot. So we're connecting dots again, celebrating. Believe it. Another year has gone flurrying by.
When was the last time that Peter was here? Do you remember what year that was?
I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I was coming to you from Vegas. I remember.
Yeah.
And we were so excited to have Peter Reynolds. Are you the founder of Dot Day?
Well, I would say co-founder. It was a teacher in Iowa, Shay, who reached out to me and he said, "My kids, we've been reading the Dot and we love the story, we love the themes, and we noticed that it said publication date is September 15th, 2003." And they asked me, where Terry said, the students asked him, is that the birthday of the book? And Terry, being a great teacher, said, well, don't ask me. You can ask the author yourself. So they wrote me a letter. And I thought, how delightful. The publication date really is kind of.
There he is.
Oh, good. Okay.
So do just pick up.
Okay.
Well, that's the teacher. Yeah, I guess Peter can just pick right up.
So yes, I collaborated with this amazing teacher, Terry Shea. I love hearing from teachers who use my books. I call them activating the book, right? Because great teachers know how to not just read a book, but how to activate it, right? How to do a deep dive, how to ask questions, activities kind of spring. But well, Terry Shea, teacher in Iowa, reached out to me and said, "Hey, my kids noticed that the book was published on September 15th, 2003. Is September 15th the birthday of the book?" And being a great teacher, Terry said, "Let's ask the author." So they reached out to me and they asked me, and I said, "Hey, that's lovely. The publication day really is the birth of the book. So this is birthday." So we decided to have a party, and the kids made dots and they signed them proudly, and they made frames, and they created a gallery, and they wore dot clothing and brought in dot food. And it was a dot festival. They shared on social media, as did I, and more teachers said, "Hey, can we do that again next year?" So there was a second Dot Day. and then the third dot day, and it started growing. And then we noticed that there were people celebrating in Poland and in Argentina and China. And so I said to Terry, well, it's really International Dot Day. So it became International Dot Day. And here we are 7, how many years?
Wow.
16 years in. So we're doing another celebration, and I think we've reached up to 33 million, something about that, 33 million dots made around the world in 190 countries. So
Amazing. It's a phenomenon. It's amazing.
it is a phenomenon. And do you know why it's about? Because it is teacher driven,
Yes.
and it is an easy thing to do, right? You start with the book, read the book, and then explore the themes, create your dot, sign it, create a frame, and you're in. And then if you want to do a deeper dive, especially with older kids, really understanding what does it mean to make your mark, right? Because it certainly means to draw, but it also means to make a difference, to have impact. And of course, I think all of us agree that the world needs people to make a positive impact, because there's a lot of darkness and we need to create light. So this year, I'm dedicating every single dot to world peace. So every dot is for peace. And we're finding all the kindred spirits around the planet who feel the same way. And I think for kids, knowing like they're not alone, and that there are people all over the world that actually want
peace.
They want peace. So we're going to piece it together this year.
Piece it together for peace. Amazing. Too, you were on, so it seems like there's been even more growth since the last time, because you were on after we met you at ISTE. It was a big event and we were starstruck, and especially I was with my husband. He was especially starstruck because I think the year prior you had read virtually to his class. So he was so excited to see you and meet you. And Jerry and I said, oh, you have to come on our podcast. So we got to meet you then. And what has been happening since? So I think it's been 2 years?
It's probably, about 3 years. Time is flying. And it was wonderful to connect with your husband and his kids in the class, in school. I love technology. I love that we're able to use technology to connect the dots. And I love meeting my readers. I loved getting that little peek into a classroom, and for kids to know that these books that they read, that human beings make them. And and of course, not only do I write them, but I always point out to kids, I say, who do you think who wrote the book? And they're like, you. And I'm like, and who did the drawings? I'm like, you. And I'm like, and who came up with the idea? You. And I'm like, and who published it? And they're like, you. And I'm like, no, actually, Candlewick Press, Walker Books in England, they published this book. So, I do all that other stuff, but then I have a publisher who takes that story and shares it in book form and makes sure that it gets out to bookstores and libraries and to my readers.
Amazing. Amazing. It's so nice for them to see you in action, like actually speak with you. And what a thrill it must be for students to have that ability to be able to do that. It's so generous of you to do that.
Yeah, it's lovely. It really is lovely. And my favorite part is the question and answer. So, kids coming up to the microphone and asking me a question.
Yeah.
And it's really lovely. And, it does seem that I've gotten so busy, even in these past 3 years. A lot of my work, as you know, is about creativity, is about expressing, what's inside of us. And I'm a big advocate of encouraging everybody to tell their story. Because why? Because you are important. You may be quiet, right? You might not be a boisterous person with, the microphone. Some of us are more comfortable with that. But there's some amazing thinkers out there. We're all actually amazing thinkers. And so I'm always encouraging people to share, what they're dreaming, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, through their art, music, through words. Of course, I wrote a book called The Word Collector. And that is, that was actually read by Michelle and Barack Obama during COVID. So that was a cool surprise. Yeah. It was Terry Shea, the Dot Day teacher, who he sent me a little message in the morning, and he said, by the way, Michelle and Barack Obama are going to be reading your story today. I'm like, what? I didn't know. It was a surprise to me. It was through the Chicago Public Library they were doing some activities for people at home who were all, in sheltered in place. And so I tuned in just like everybody else, and there they were reading the story, and they did a really lovely job reading the story. So that's available if people want to take a look.
We can go watch that.
You can actually see it, yes, and you can see the funny Michelle. Barack said he said, "Oh well, Jerome kind of looks like me," and then Michelle said, "Well, you actually have bigger ears."
She always teases him about his ears.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
They were so cute. And this is the new book, Gift of Words, that's coming out later this year. So I'm all about words and getting people to tell their story. So I'm hoping that my work, the Dot, and of course the Dot, as you probably know, it's part of a trilogy about creativity, and I call it the Creatrilogy. So there's the Dot, Ish, and Sky Color, and TheaterWorks USA actually recently turned it into a musical. So I think it's finishing a U.S. tour.
I remember that in our last conversation. That was actually coming out when we spoke. Yes.
So it's been traveling across the country, and I've seen the show a couple of times. It was quite marvelous. And right now I'm in the works on developing a television. I can't say too much about it, but there's something exciting in the works involving Dot, Ish, and Sky Color. So stay tuned. There's never a dull moment here in the Reynolds studios.
It seems like you just exploded even more since we saw you a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Well, I have a twin brother. I always say if you plan on being busy in life, be born a twin. Because I've got an amazing twin brother, Paul, who's my big brother by 14 minutes, and he's I don't know how I would do it without him. He encourages me. He gets things done. He likes to say, I'm in charge. You're in charge of dreaming. I'll do the doing part. So dream and do.
One of your ideas, and he ties it up nicely and gets it out the door. Can we say hi? Can we say hello to?
Oh, hi, Paul. Hello. See, he's in the background, and he's always hello.
Yes. What
great to see you. So great to see you.
The Dream and Do partnership here.
So we actually collaborate in a book called Going Places together. And we have a sequel in which
very nice.
You'll have to come back and share that.
And this little schedule that was put together, guess who did that? That was me.
Oh, yes.
That was you.
Yeah.
That schedule doesn't look very little. What is that schedule about?
Yeah. So this is Dot Day activities. I will be visiting I'll be spending the day at the Institute of Contemporary Arts in Boston. And on September 7th, and then I'm going to the Museum of Fine Arts. We're doing a live cast from the Block Center, right? Schubert Theater.
On October
6th. Yeah. So there's right.
The MoMA.
Oh, MoMA, who likes modern art. So
when is that?
That is on October 4th. I will be. It's part of the Uniqlo Family Day, and I will be there reading and doing activities with families. So,
So you read when you go to these, you read the book to them, and then what kind of activities do you do?
Well, I read the book, but I perform. I perform a play, because I always tell kids, there's an audience of kids, and then there's me on stage. So I tell them, I'm like, okay, we have an audience, we have a stage, we have a story, and we have some props, because I have an easel with blank paper and some markers. And then I say, I'm like, let's put on a show. Who wants to be Vashti? So, the kids all, raise their hand. I pull somebody out of the audience to be Vashti, and we then put on the play. So I'm reading, but I'm sort of enhancing as we go along. And so when Vashti, I asked Vashti, the student playing Vashti, to make a dot in the middle. And then during the story, I asked them, well, just fill the, and I put a little frame around the dot. And then I say, okay, your job is to just fill this thing with dots while I finish the story. So they're busy drawing dots as I'm telling the story. So it's really quite lovely because by the end of the story, there's this framed masterpiece, and I get the student to sign their name because it's really important. That's a big part of the story is, right, the teacher says, you'll make your mark, see where it takes you. And Vashti makes this one little dot, and the teacher takes a look at it and hands it back and says, please sign it. And it's really important to sign your name because it means that you are proud of your work. And I want people to be proud of their work because they are amazing human beings. You should be proud of your ideas and your creations and be confident. And I know it's hard, it's even hard for adults. We pretend a lot. We pretend that we've got it all together, but a lot of adults are, we are afraid to kind of put ourselves out there. So,
and especially with creativity.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
A creative creativity. Yes.
That blank page can be scary.
It can be.
Right. And of course, that's the metaphor because I always say that every day, we're writing a book, right? Every day you wake up, you get another blank page in your book. You are about to write another page in your book. And if you're intentional, you can write that story. If you let other people write your story, it will definitely not be as interesting, the one that you can write. So that blank page actually represents more than just making a place to make a drawing. It represents possibility. And I'm an optimist. I think that the best is yet to come.
Yes.
And if you have the right attitude, that you can actually make good stuff happen, because you're kind of like, it's like a magnet, right? You just attract good energy. And if you're kind of feeling blue, which is okay to do, right? I would say hang out with people who are shining, light, because it can change how you feel. And you could do the same thing for other people.
Yes. I love these messages. They're so important. I love how you bring your story to life in so many different ways. The storytelling, having students be part of the magic behind it, the production, and it really gets them to see and understand the importance of making their mark. And it's so wonderful in all the ways that you do that.
Thank you. Well, I hope also that adults participate too, and that's really important. I always think that these things I create are often referred to as children's books, but they're called picture books, and a good picture book is great for all ages, especially busy adults who don't have a lot of time. That within 5 or 6 minutes, you can actually get delivered a pretty powerful idea. And I do want adults listening to make me a promise: do not denigrate your art, your creations in front of kids, because they're little sponges, and they hear you say, I can't draw, or I'm a terrible artist. And we sometimes we say it spills out of our mouth. We're not thinking, but kids are listening to you and you are their hero. So if their hero says, I can't do something, it's like, oh, you just given them vocabulary to tell themselves that they can't.
Right.
Right. And
Good point.
so I'm not a big fan of I can't. I think there's the I try, and I could try again, and maybe I'll try later when I'm feeling energized or someone can help me. But saying you can't, it's so definitive. And so I don't want people to put themselves in that box. I want them to bust out of the box and know that anything is possible.
Right. And their books focus on good character traits and courage and being kind. And I feel like this time that we're living in right now, we really need more of that. And we need the adults and the kids to hear more of that, because if you turn on the news, we're just not hearing that so much.
Right. Absolutely. And I actually have a theme sheet is it on my website, Paul? PeterHReynolds.com.
And also Reynolds.
Oh, and ReynoldsTLC.org. There's a theme sheet, and what I've done is I've shown not all of them, but about 20 of my books with the big idea for each one, the big theme. So, the dot really is about confidence. It looks like an art book, but it's really about confidence.
Right.
And I have, different themes. So there's resilience and empathy and listening, and the joy of words, the joy of music, all of these little components that, if
Yes.
you have all of these tools in your toolbox in life, the journey actually gets easier.
Right.
And because there seems to be a focus, especially in public education, on memorizing stuff. Like, I have to know all this stuff. It's like,
Right.
that's cool. A superhuman trick that we can remember stuff, but better is to, how are you going to live? What kind of neighbor are you going to be? What kind of brother or sister, or son, daughter, friend are you going to be? And of course, we want the best for our kids. And when you think of like, what do we want for them? It's certainly not to memorize all the state birds, right? It's, I want my child, to advocate for themselves and know when to reach out for help, and how to take time for themselves, how to make sure that they've got dream time and not just work time. So
Right.
these themes are
Person.
powerful for all ages.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, yeah, it's not just for young children. This is
Mhm.
really for adults as well. So when we as teachers, as parents, when we're using this with students, it's something that we need to model and remember and help us grow as well.
Right?
Yeah.
We're all works in progress, all
Yep.
of it. I mean, we are never finished. And in fact, I think it's sad that we only get about 100-ish years to be humans. And I do think that every year, every birthday, I always say that, right? God takes away a year, but gives you a year's worth of wisdom.
Yeah,
And so, right.
True.
So we've collected that wisdom. One of the lovely ways to share is through story, right? Through
Yes.
sharing your wisdom with your children, grandchildren, your students. And that's why I love encouraging teachers to tell their own stories, right? It's so powerful when you tell that story about, learning how to swim, or if the students know who you are, and to hear
Right.
your story is as powerful, more powerful, I would say, than something they can read in
Needed.
a
Right.
book from the library. So we're all full of stories. Remember them, record them. And speaking of recording, a really fun thing I've been encouraging people to do lately is to take a picture book that you love. Doesn't have to be one of mine, but if you take a picture book and just take your device and hit the memo, and record yourself reading it. And in a program like Audacity, there's different programs for sort of cleaning it up a little bit, and then add some music, and then give that to your children, to your grandchildren, to your students. How lovely for a teacher to record their favorite story, and imagine that they could listen to that, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, listening to their favorite teacher read their favorite story, and that inspiration can ripple.
I love that. The
That is
gift of words.
The
Your-
gift of words, right? Share the
Yes.
gift of words.
Your new book.
That's it.
Now that is new. How new is that?
Gifted this copy. This is the only one in Massachusetts at the moment.
Oh,
This
very new.
this comes out in October the 4th, I think. Paul, right? Something like that. October 7th, and then I'm going to be doing this is my my tour. I'm
Gift of
going to be
Words.
the Gift of Words tour. So I'm going to, where am I going, Paul? I'm going to Manchester, New Hampshire, New York City, Washington, D.C., Boston, Massachusetts, Plainville, Massachusetts, Jeff Kinney's store, The Unlikely Story. I'm going to be in Chicago, Illinois. I'm going to be in New York City. I may be doing a little surprise event at Central Park.
Wow.
Yeah. Detroit, Michigan, Kansas City, Missouri, and then
Yes.
back to Dedham. So yeah, Kansas City, Missouri. I'm going to be at the Rabbit Hole, which is a fantastic museum. If you haven't heard about it, or
Here.
haven't visited, have you been there?
No.
Oh, you haven't been there. I haven't been either, but I've been following them on Instagram, and imagine actually walking into a picture book. So Good
Wow.
Night Moon. There's the room.
Yes.
Good Night Moon. You can actually be in that room.
In that
Um,
room.
It is truly a
Beautiful.
remarkable museum, all dedicated to picture books, bringing them to life. So if you're a fan of
Oh.
picture books,
am.
definitely check that out. So I'm going to be working with the the folks at the Rabbit Hole, and we're going to be doing a really cool dot inspired event,
Oh,
words, and encouraging people to tell their own stories.
Now, your new book, what's the theme? I know it's about words, but is there another theme with it? Or
Yeah, well,
you say?
in this, and it's interesting because you were saying that, in these particular times that we are going through, they're kind of challenged.
Right.
And, I think that hate can be very loud, and kindness
Yes.
is kind of quiet.
Right.
And yet there are so many lovely human beings out there, and we're just, the quiet ones. And so I need people to be, amp up the kindness and to
Yes.
share positive words. So in this story, Jerome, he is a word collector. And if you read the word collector book, you know that that's one of his favorite things to do. He goes around and he collects words he hears, the ones he sees. And so he decides he's going to collect holiday words, inspirational words for the holidays. And he goes to his downtown, and as he's walking along the street with the shops, he looks out the window, and there are words like buy this, but on sale. And then there's like no parking and no dogs allowed. And he's not finding the words that he thinks of, when he thinks of holidays. And so he goes back to his collection of words at home. He packs them in some bags on his sleigh, and he brings them to the park. And there's a bare tree, and he decides to string the words together like garlands. And there are a lot of branches and a lot of words. So his friends and his family, the community, gather around, and they begin to string words together, powerful phrases, and they fill this tree filled with positive words. And so it's a tree, filled with positive words. And at the end of the book, there's like a catalog-ish, and it's 10 different ideas on ways that you can, for free, you can share your words with the people that you love, whether it's through a letter, through a conversation, through a song. There are lots of different ways that we can share positive words. So we do need positivity. We need kind words. And so I hope that this book inspires everybody to give their own gift of words.
own gift of words, and be bold about it as well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. That is a gift in itself. That message is so wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I've been busy in the studio. Here at we have a not-for-profit called the Reynolds Center for Teaching, Learning, and Creativity. So Reynolds TLC, because we believe that teachers deserve lots of TLC and a lot more than they're getting. If I was in charge, I would definitely the budget for schools would be much bigger. I think that we're under-resourcing teachers, and I think we need to value them more. And it's not just money. It's giving teachers the freedom to follow their heart. And they got into teaching for a reason, because they love kids.
Yeah.
They know what's good for kids. And I think sometimes we demand a lot from teachers, and they actually don't get as much time to be as creative as I know that they are. So
you are so great.
At Reynolds TLC. And if people want to check out what we're doing, reynoldstlc.org, you can sign up for the newsletter. We do workshops for teachers and for kids. We also go to schools. We do something called the Create Bravely Family Night, which has been really popular. We go to schools, and it's kind of like a science fair, but it's a creativity fair. And there are animated films of most of my stories. So we will watch a animated film, parents and kids together, and teachers. And then there are 10 different stations, and it exercises a different part of the creative mindset. And it's just so much fun. There's music and arts and crafts. And so Bravely Family Night, you can learn more about that. ReynoldsTLC.org, StableVisionLearning.org, .com. Yeah.
Wow. It sounds enchanting. Oh my gosh.
It does. You need to do this for adults in workspaces too.
Paul and I were just talking about that.
And no reason.
Yeah. So
yes.
I think corporate folks need. They
Yeah.
need a little bit of this magic too.
That
Yeah.
is so true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What are
So
some ideas there?
yeah,
I know I saw your brain turning there, Jamie.
Yeah, a couple of, like 3 or 4 are going on there.
I
Yeah.
knew something was going on.
Mhm, mhm.
Oh,
do you know what's exciting? That I'm going to be on October the 4th. Is it the 4th, Paul? That we're doing the thing with the kids at the Schubert Theater? The 6th, October the 6th. I'm going to be at the Schubert Theater, which is part of the Bach Center in Boston. And it's this beautiful theater. And we've got 1,600 kids coming to the theater. And we'll be doing a live celebration. So we'll be beaming out to the whole world and connecting to 190 countries. But the kids in Boston will be in the audience. And that night, there's in the same, the theater right across the street, one of my collaborators is going to actually be playing some music. And that collaborator is Yusuf Cat Stevens. I illustrated his song Peace Train 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. And during COVID, he reached out to me through Dr. Collins, and we were video chatting just like this. And he said, Peter, I'm a big fan of your work. And I'm like, well, I'm a big fan of your work.
yes.
And he said, do you know my song Peace Train? It's the 50th anniversary of the song. And he said, do you think it would make a good picture book? So we made a picture book.
What an honor. Oh my gosh.
And then he said, oh, I'm doing a new album. So I did the album cover for his new album. So this is called King of the Land. And I actually made 3 animated films with my studio, Fable Vision. And if you check out King of the Land, Yusuf Cat Stevens, you can see 3 of the songs that we brought to life. And one of the songs, the lead song, is King of the Land. And it imagines a world if a child was running it. And if a child ran the world, people would have food to eat and shelter and education, and people would be kind to each other. And so it's a delightful song. And I've become very good friends with Yusuf Cat Stevens. And he's such a lovely human, doing good work. He's making his mark. So that's one of the blessings I have in the work that I do. If you look at the 100 titles that I have done, 80% of what I have done is collaborations. I would probably make more money if I did both all the time, but I love helping other people tell their story. And you don't have to be famous like Cat Stevens or Megan McDonald. I illustrate the Judy Moody series, which is always a surprise to me. Oh, you did that series?
I didn't know that.
Yours, yeah.
Wait, I see that now. I see that now, actually. Yeah.
Yes.
But a real estate attorney came into my bookstore. I own a bookstore as well because I have not enough to do. So I started a bookstore celebrating 22 years in October. Real estate attorney comes in. He has a little folder. He has poems that he had written. And I read these and I said, Mark, called Giovanni, you are on your way. They're so beautiful. I said, where did you come up with the ideas for these stories, the reflection in me, if things aren't going right, go left. Where did these come from? And he said, I wrote them for my 3 daughters. I'm like, no, that is why they're so beautiful, because they're so heartfelt.
Yes.
And I could see, that is the reason you wrote them. So I did 2 books with Mark called Giovanni. If things aren't going right, go left.
Love that title.
Lovely book, right? And very appropriate for these days. And Reflection in Me, which is also an animated film. So if people want to check that out.
Wow.
And you can learn all about this on reynoldstlc.org, see what we're up to. I fortunately have found kindred spirits who we have about, 45 people now in our team. And I find these lovely human beings who love to create positive media. And so we are located in Boston. If anybody is listening, wants to plan a little field trip, come to Boston and come to my bookstore, our bookstore, the Blue Bunny Bookstore. And if you come, you can use the secret password and get a free gift. So do you want to know the secret password?
Yes, please.
All right. Rainbow potato.
Rainbow potato.
Yeah. So
It's a great password.
right, is that good? So
Yes.
that's probably good for for a while. So come on down soon. But we are having so much fun here at Reynolds TLC and the bookstore and at Fable Vision. And we are, like I said, we're collaborating. I have a top secret collaboration that I can't tell you about, but I think almost everybody on the planet will know who my collaborator is. And that's all I can say. So will you please have me back?
Great. Wow.
Yes.
We have to have your website on refresh. And
Yeah.
when we learn about it, we'll schedule you back. Absolutely.
And I am on Instagram, my friend. So
Okay.
Peter H. Don't forget the H. H is for
Peter
Hamilton.
H.
My middle name is Hamilton, based on a hit Broadway musical. So
Right.
Of
at
course.
Peter H. Reynolds. And I'm on Facebook and Blue Sky, but Instagram's a good place to find me. And
Thank you.
I go live every so often with news.
Oh, fun.
In fact, today Paul and I we jumped on because we wanted to share that we are going to be on Good Morning America. So we're going to be with Charlie and Kate Gibson. They have a lovely podcast called The Bookcase, and they also do segments on Good Morning America. So September 11th in the morning, I will be on with my twin brother Paul, and we're going to be sharing the Dot and International Dot Day and spreading the word about creativity and the mission to make this world more colorful in a kinder place.
Oh my gosh. I
that's-
will be watching.
Hey, Peter, if there are teachers out there that haven't, maybe new to teaching and haven't
Mhm.
been involved, is there still time to get involved in Dot Day? And what would they do to get involved?
You can join Dot Day even after Dot Day,
Okay.
because every day should be
It's
Dot
Dot
Day.
Day.
Right? It's Dot Day. So, but if you want to sign on, and I do encourage people to register, because if you register, you'll get a free handbook. It's a Dot Day handbook
Ooh.
that we've compiled a lot of the lovely ideas from around the world, different projects, ways that people celebrate Dot Day. And you can either do those activities or they may inspire your own activities. So you get a free guide. It's also a good way for us just to have you in the roster to know that you participated. So if you go to international.day.org, it's super easy to register. Just click and let us know who you are, where you will be celebrating. It doesn't have to be a school. It can be a senior center. It can be a town hall. It can be an individual. So you can sign on and just let us know how many people you're celebrating with. Sometimes we get schools that say, 550 kids are celebrating with us. And that goes into the tally. So you'll see a number that keeps growing every day of the number of people who are joining us. It's exciting to know that on that day that you will be in harmony with all these people around the world who believe that creativity is important and that it can change the world. So to feel that you're not alone, that you are part of something that is greater than the sum of its parts. Wow. And so it's an exciting day. It's one of our favorite days. I mean, Paul is he's a complete mess on Dot Day because he's so excited and
Fever. And everyone can choose the way they wish to celebrate, right?
Absolutely. It can be as simple as read the book, make a dot, sign it. It can be read the book, create a frame, create a gallery. You can invite the staff in your school. Wouldn't it be lovely to see the custodian and the lunch team making their dot? Why not invite the mayor? How about the superintendent? That's kind of a fun idea, right? Get them to see personally what you are doing in your school, in your community. And I do think that getting leaders and people who are responsible for funding to see that creativity is making impact in their community, and that resources should be directed towards creativity. So that's part of the bigger mission. So,
Jamie, I think we need to get Slink in something for Dot Day.
Thinking the same thing. We could do a big room for it and then share it out. Now,
breaking news.
Monday this year. So it's a great way to kick off. If you're going to be, you can, as you mentioned, we can do dot day any day. But if we're going to be celebrating, it is a Monday. Is that right? I think it is this year. Kick off the week.
Dot Day Monday, Paul?
Saturday is a Monday.
It is Monday, yes.
Nice way to kick off a week. That's good.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have, I think this is being released just before that. So we'll be in business. Very good. And we have lots of links to share in the show notes. So if you missed them, check them out. They are there. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, thank you so much for helping spread the word about International Dot Day and ways that people can be a part of this really exciting phenomenon. So, and thanks for all the work you do. You inspire so many. So keep going.
Thank you so much, both of you, Peter and Paul. Thank you so much for joining and sharing all that you're doing.
Thank you. And Paul, say goodbye.
Yes.
So,
Bye, Paul.
You're awesome.
Bye, Paul.
all right. Take care, everybody.
All right.
Thank you for listening. And if you would like to stay linked up, be sure to follow us on Apple and Spotify and subscribe to us on YouTube.